Aloha, beautiful resilience family. Happy, I guess it's Tuesday today. I wanted to jump into this live video because it's been a couple of days since I've gone live with all of you guys. And I am, perpetually learning life lessons myself as I live through the day-to-day of this beautiful little dance we're calling life. And wanted to share with you some insights that I got yesterday. I go to see somebody for theta healing. It's one of the many modalities that I use to do release work, because as practitioners and coaches and people who are in this field, it's important to continue to do our own work and to walk the talk, so to speak. And inside of that experience yesterday with the amazing woman that I go see for theta healing, who I'm actually going to be studying with to bring theta healing into my own practice, was this lesson of allowing myself to take a minute. As you all know from watching the Radical Resilience Live Facebook event, that the number one pillar of resilience is radical self-care. And that for many of us who are ambitious and driven and up to something and really achievement oriented, the sort of default mode can be to jump into the space of doing and creating and kind of being in action. Now, there's nothing wrong with taking action. Of course, it's a very necessary part of bringing your dreams to fruition. It's a very necessary piece of the equation, especially when it comes to the law of attraction. And there is a time and a space, however, for allowing yourself to take a minute. And so when I was sitting with Alexis, my theta healing practitioner, she brought something to my awareness, which is that I have a very real, both genetic and cultural aspect of myself, my programming, that has to do with feeling like I have to carve my way in the world and put the nose to the grind, if you will, and make things happen. And that a big part of the learning and the lesson for me in this lifetime is to come into a space of allowing. And I know that we've touched on that before, that it's about being in that space of the flow and being in a space of trust and being in a space of faith. It's not always the easiest thing to do because we're so used to doing rather than being. And the lesson that I got in that space and in that healing and in that process was that I need to give myself a minute. And I haven't really given myself a minute from the time that, I can't honestly remember the last time I gave myself a minute. I even in my going to Greece and facilitating that beautiful retreat, which seemed like, downtime in a lot of ways, I was still facilitating a retreat and in the space of holding the container and holding the space for those people to have an amazing experience. And there really hasn't been any period of downtime, if you will, other than sort of just stolen moments here and there where I've said, okay, I'm going to take a little bit of time today or take a couple of hours here and there. And what I wanted to share with you guys is that it's okay. That in case you needed it, I'm here to give it. Not because you need it from me, but because sometimes we need to just hear that you have permission to take a minute. And a minute can be a couple of hours. A minute can be a couple of days. A minute could be a week. That you've got permission to take a minute. If you are going through something big and hairy and that requires your bandwidth and your energy, that it's okay to take a minute to, as Alexis put it to me yesterday, unwind. And that definition is so beautiful, because it's not just about how we interpret the word unwinding, but to literally unwind yourself from the emotion inside of it. And so I'm giving you permission to do that, because I'm giving myself permission to do that. And this morning, I recorded, I was interviewed for a podcast with my dear friend, Crystal, who has a beautiful platform called The Courage of Ease. And that was a big part of the conversation, was that sometimes we need permission because society has us programmed to believe that we don't have it inherently. And you do. You inherently have permission. So take it and take a minute to allow yourself to unwind, to relax, to go within, to tap into the beautiful energy of Mother Earth, right? To essentially go down and deep into that beautiful feminine nurturing energy to come back up. That's the lesson I'm learning right now as I go through this process. And it's one I wanted to share with all of you. You're all amazing. You're so inspiring. I've had so many of you reach out to me with words of support and gratitude. I can't tell you how grateful I am for you and this group and your presence in it. For those of you who watched the live video and are so active inside of the space, I thank you. I commend you and your courage and your bravery. And for those of you who remain silent, that's okay too. You're here to use this space in whatever way serves you best. If you do still want a copy of the ebook, I'm happy to send that your way. All you got to do is send me a PM, a personal message with your email address, so that I can send that on to you. That live event video is going to be there for a few more days, and then I'm going to go ahead and take it down just so that we can return to the regular conversation of this group. And so thank you all for your presence, for your contribution. Please feel free to reach out to me, as many of you have, for additional support. In whatever way that I can be here and be of service to you, that's really my intention in creating this group and continuing to cultivate the conversation inside of it. Continue to have a beautiful day. Let me know how you're going to commit to taking a minute, whether it's today or tomorrow or the next day or the weekend. Share with the group and let us know how you're going to recommit to yourself in that time. Okay? With lots and lots of love and aloha from my heart to yours. Namaste and ahui ho.